Hello and welcome to the review video for Scotland 2024. So this is the fifth part of the series, and the idea behind this, like the previous one, was to go over some of the finer details of the routes, tell you what went right, what went wrong, some kind of local knowledge that I picked up, and just general interest and a little bit more in depth rather than just the footage. I also enjoy creating them because they're they're interesting. I enjoy watching other YouTubers create them. So, yep, that's the basis. So the first day I arrived on the Saturday fairly late on, and then Sunday was going to be a semi-relaxed day, so a kind of 10 miler maybe. I ended up doing slightly further at 12 miles, but yeah, it was still a relaxing day. This is where I was. So I camped at this place here, glamping Riverside, and it's kind of in line with Aberdeen if you're looking for it on the map. Quite high up. I'm from the south coast down here, so it was a long drive on the Saturday. Took about 10 hours driving in total, with a few stops along the way. And then Sunday was this walk here, so it was the official route was just to Monagowan, and then I extended it slightly further. So that's Monagowan. That's where the route officially ends, but there's a couple of named hills over in that direction. So have a look. On the map it does say down here that it's marshy or boggy. So we'll get down to the bottom and see what it's like. I've only been walking 2 hours, so it's a bit short really to finish. But you can see from the local area how many detours you could make if you were either camping here or potentially staying in here maybe. You could walk down the lane. The parking itself isn't great round there. If you were to park around these lanes, they're all farm tracks more or less, or single lanes. So the parking isn't great if you do want to park a little bit closer. I would imagine the best place to park is either Rough Park or Stratfton, and then walk down the lane and then pick up the trail from there. And it was fairly easy going actually. It was all along here was farm tracks, and then up when you start to climb this bit here, it's still very easy going, and the official route came down here and I detoured and picked up this one, and then further along I went. This is where the marshy peat bogs were at the top, so kind of skirting round here you can see I did a slightly different route on the way back, and that's mainly just to avoid the bog essentially. One good thing about Scotland is they have a right to roam, and along as this is a farm track, the guy was very pleasant. He waved to me, he let me go past, even if it is a public path. It was still very nice. I've had a few times in England where even though it's a public path, the farmer races past and is a little bit kind of annoyed that you're on a byway. But other than that, it was a nice route. If we go to elevation, there's some fairly big hills around here. Morven's a chunky boy over there. But you can see by all the names that you could walk around here for weeks and probably still not complete all of them. Highly recommend it if you're interested in going up to Scotland. It's one of the nicer places I've ever been. So that was day one, so that was the Sunday. And so I got back to camp about 4 o'clock and then just kind of chilled out after that. The 12 miles in total, yeah, 4.5, 5 hours. Yeah, that's the official route there that I should have gone on. Like I said, it went to Monagowan and back, and then but you could extend it. You could even go over here, or um, that one's not named, but you know they don't all have to be named. So that was the Sunday. Monday was this walk here, so there's the Mount Keen one. I think hopefully on this review video I'm going to try and overlay some stuff just so that it makes a bit more sense. So we're in the cloud now. You can almost see the line down there where the edge of the cloud is. Quite cool. Started here. This is quite a tricky place to get to actually. It's yeah, it's not the easiest of lanes, and you also, when I must be here maybe, or along here, when you follow the lane down, the sat nav actually takes you to the wrong lane. Don't know which one it is. It may even be that one. It's on the corner, and it takes you to the wrong address, and it's fairly obvious as soon as you drive onto it that it's not meant for cars. It is quite heavy boulders and gravel. So I had to make a quick U-turn and come back down where I was meant to be. Parking really good. It was £3 for the whole day, easy, and there was cell service there as well, so it was ideal for parking. There is a little, whether it's down, might be there. There is like a little cafe. Oh, there it is, visitor centre. It was closed on the Monday for some reason. Must have been bank holiday. It was closed. And the route itself, coming from the car park, fairly straightforward. You walk down the lane to begin with, and then you kind of come onto the estate, and it's one path really. You could definitely cycle it. The vast majority is cyclable all the way up to actually Forest End, so talking 5 miles of forest, 7.5 to the bottom of Mount Keen, so we're talking 15 miles of heavy gravel paths, which it takes a toll on your body. And then the route up Mount Keene is quite simple. It's a one track all the way up, and yeah, you don't really need a map for this route, honestly. I would definitely advise taking bikes though. It was too much of a slog, and yeah, the nature and the kind of views are impressive, but 15 miles of it is pretty repetitive. Um, I'm just thinking if there's an easier way of doing it, but I don't think there is. There's no paths around. Potentially, if there's a car park around here, maybe you could start. I don't know whether that would cut off anything, but you could maybe do something slightly different. Mountain road. And then, just based on the weather, really, I decided to turn back. But when I originally planned the route, I was thinking of going along here, picking up this one, picking up that one, and then coming back down either this path or potentially even coming back via, you know, picking up all of these and then coming back here, which would be amazing. But just the weather was, it was too much. There was no view, and without fully researching it, it is just daft not to follow the route officially, because you never know. Um, I'm sure it would be okay, but when you're not familiar with the area, it's difficult. But highly recommend. It's on a clear day, it would be an amazing place, particularly if you've got bikes. Oh, I would do that one again and pick up that ridge line, come along. Yep, that was the second day, and then the third day. This was the um, Ben McDo one with the snow. This may be the end of the road. That's quite a large. I can see foot tracks, so I'm sure you could pass it, but it's only going to get worse, isn't it? Let's see how slimy it is. Oh, it's icy as well, isn't it? The other people don't seem to have spikes on, so that's kind of strange. Almost looks like someone's skied down that bit. Yeah, I think this is the end for me. It's a shame, but I'm just not equipped. I could risk it, I suppose, but then there's just going to be a bigger bit further on, and then we're not even at 4,000 feet yet. And that's how high I got, so I got to like 3,600-ish, and then on the other side I got to 4,000. A real shame, because I was looking forward to that, but not to be on that occasion. And I think it's quite nice sometimes that you don't fully succeed in the goals, because it brings you back, and that's a good thing, I think. The paths, if you've ever done like Snowdon or Ben Nevis, very similar to this, if not slightly better actually, the vast majority of it. All gravel, compacted, a few kind of stepping stone sections and like semi-river crossings, but they've all got boulders. I did, however, I was planning on parking in the cafe, which I don't think it was much. I think it was £2 or £3 to park in the official car park. Oh, it was here. But as soon as I came up the lane, there was loads of people parking here, and there was a nice little spot fairly close to the entrance. So I was like, oh, I'll bag that. And it's maybe you should pay for the official one just so that they have more money. But I'm a bit of a cheapskate. I do like a free parking now and again. And interestingly, coming up, it was quite a long drive coming from over here where I was camping. It was about an hour and a half drive, and all along Aviemore is quite a popular place to stay, but all along here there's lots of campsites and there's lots of um, like camper van places, and yeah, all like really surprising the setup that there is. I think potentially if I was to come again, I may stay around Aviemore, and then you've got a little bit more some of the serious climbs, or Fort William's a bit of a popular place as well, isn't it? But if I was to come back to the Cairngorms, I'd probably go to Aviemore. Definitely not camping either. If I was to do this walk again, I would recommend to do Cairngorm first, particularly if there's any risk of snow. And you can normally, if it's a semi-clear day, you can normally see the snow in sections, and it's only going to get worse as you get higher. So I would definitely recommend doing this side first, gauging what it's like, and then you can always come along here and pick up one of these routes and then see how you get on. It was just one of those things that I walked this side, got as far, and then walked that side, and then came. So it was a bit kind of deja vu, which is a bit of a shame. Because if I was to come up here, succeed, I could have at least walked along here, maybe even like done one of these over here somewhere. But yeah, you live and you learn. It's something that you wouldn't really know because it'd be typical that you walk on this side and it's got snow. But as this is the higher side, it makes sense to assume that this is going to have snow, particularly if you can see it. And it is surprising that even though this is 4,000 and I got to 3,500, there was snow at that point, but there was none on Cairngorm. And when I arrived, there was quite a lot of people around this cafe, in the official car park and on the lanes, just taking photos, just kind of milling about in the ski shop, in the cafe. A few people were kind of walking up this path and then like taking like photos down the valley. But as soon as you get past like kind of halfway, maybe not even halfway, it completely drops off. And I know it was a snow day, but I really expected it to be quite busy. Snowdon is very popular. Yeah, maybe it's just Scotland and slightly out of season, bad weather. But it's worth bearing in mind that if it's busy down at the cafe, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be busy on the trail. And the fourth day, definitely the best day. Look at these routes and peaks. Picked up so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, and I could probably have picked up a couple of extra ones, but it was 21 miles. Windy summit. Broad Cairn. That was one big false summit. Oh, look at this place. Woo! That feels good. Look at that view. That wind is insane though. And it was a hard slog, particularly down this section here, which is all on loose gravel, and your knees are knackered, and it's a long day, 8 hours. The distance not so much, but there's a lot of 4,000 feet of elevation is a big old chunk. And I purely chose this way round because of the weather. There was clouds over here, and there was some clouds over here as well. But the main bulk of it was over this side, and the wind was pushing to the east as we look at it. So my theory was walk round here, and the clouds should pass and should be passing as I walk. And it turned out like really well, actually. It was almost perfect timing. Very, very windy on the top here, but it is expected, and it is kind of a bit of a, I imagine it kind of whooshes down and whooshes up, and it's, yeah, you're on a big hill, it's going to be busy, windy. Most of the route is fairly good. There's a couple of little scrambly sections. I wouldn't say they're full on scrambly, but they're like 2 points of contact, third occasionally, but it's, you've got to just pay attention. Quite fun. It mixes it up a little bit. There's probably only two. There was another one over here to get to one of the tops. That was probably the most technical bit, but that was more because of the route that I chose. But it mixes it up. I enjoy it, and I'm sure if you were really kind of trying to avoid it, you could probably skirt around and find an easier route. It was £5 to park in the car park as well, which I thought was really good value. And that's a full day's activities. There was a little gift shop. I don't know whether it was a cafe, but there was a small gift shop and a museum. The museum was open, the gift shop was closed. And that's about it. This was definitely my favourite route of the trip. I would do this one in a heartbeat. Potentially the other ones, I'd probably do, what's this called? Ben McDo again, just to kind of complete it. Would I do Mount Keene again? Yeah, I would. The area was pretty stunning. Maybe potentially slightly different route, but it was worth it. I probably wouldn't do this one again, just because it's a little bit kind of wastelandy. The hills aren't particularly amazing, but they're nice for a kind of a jaunt. How many miles did I do? So I did 12. I did 19, 11 and a half, and 20 and a half. So it's a fair old chunk. And that's it, I think. It's only 4 days walking. I did cut it short on the fifth day, just to the shoes mostly, and feeling a bit tired. I did need to get back for work, which was annoying, but that was another issue. But great trip, highly recommend it. I'd love to go back to maybe kind of do this side, maybe even do some of the islands or something. But you really need to, particularly when you're so far down, you need to spend a serious chunk up there to make it worth it, because it's a full day's driving, full day's back, and you could potentially say that you could stop in like the lakes, or you could stop in at the peak somewhere to break up the journey. Maybe the lakes is quite nice, but then that means 2 days there, 2 days back, 4 days. You need at least a week. Then it becomes a decent holiday. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll try and put all of the links for the routes that I did in the description. And yeah, see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.